I know that this is super late, but better late than never. So this is going to be our heart chakra class. So if you're new to the series, please go back and watch the previous videos. The way that the chakras work is you kind of need to go through them one at a time. And of course, I have the chakra test linked in the description. I'll also be linking the 2 books that I've been getting a lot of my information from. I've also got a lot of my information from just the regular internet, quick Google searches, different like Yoga Journal, Yoga International. Those are 2 really good websites to check out that have some really cool articles regarding yogic philosophy and how it relates to the asana practice. So with all that being said, just a little full warning disclosure, I am not of a Indian heritage. I did not get my training through an Indian heritage teacher. I got it at Kula Yogashala in Jupiter, Florida, which they did a fantastic job of teaching about yogic philosophy. But I just wanted to be very clear of the fact that I am a white woman talking about yogic philosophy. If you would like to be more in depth, please go seek out somebody from that culture who knows more about it. This is just a basic understanding. We're going to go over what the chakra is related to. We're going to go over imbalances, how to tell when you want to work with this chakra, ways that it can be in excess or deficient, and we're also going to talk about ways to work through it. We're also going to pair it with some yoga poses. This is not like a full-length class. We're going to go over a few of the poses, but it's going to be a very fast-paced class, and I'll actually link another YouTube channel's yoga flows in the group at a later date. But let's get into the nitty-gritty about the heart chakra. So this is chakra number 4. It is obviously located heart center. Its color is green, and some of the just basic informations about the heart chakra. So it connects us to our emotional selves. It's bringing harmony, forgiveness, and love to ourselves and those around us. Transmitting energy from our upper and lower chakras to promote a steady flow of energy, right? So chakras are energy centers throughout the body. There's about 140 or so, but we've been talking about the main 7 ones that go along the spinal column, right? Starting at the base and then moving up to the crown chakra. Excuse me. So this transmits energy from the upper and lower chakras to promote a steady flow of energy. This chakra allows you to express unselfish love and accept what life has to offer. So there's a love bug in here, which I find hilarious as we're talking about the heart chakra right now. Okay, so some signs that you should work with this chakra specifically. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy book, The Essential Guide to the Chakras. And again, this is a very basic understanding of them. The book, Eastern Body, Western Mind, really goes into the nitty gritty and the consciousness and the different archetypes that are associated with each chakra. So I strongly recommend this for anybody who is wanting to do some searching, some self-realization and stuff of that nature. So some signs that you should work with this chakra. When you realize you tend to be overly judgmental towards yourself, you would like to develop more compassion. You notice how painful it is to accept anything gracefully, even compliments, right? So like you ever compliment somebody and they're just like, no way, or like they'll find some way to like tear down themselves. That's a dead giveaway that they need to work with this chakra. You crave a loving partnership, but you're unable to commit or maintain one. So when this chakra is balanced, we feel compassionate, we feel loving, empathetic, peaceful. We have a balanced gratitude. We find emotional balance. We forgive people who have harmed us, right? So when this particular chakra is in excess, you have codependency issues, poor boundaries, which those 2 just go hand in hand. You may be demanding, jealous, clingy, overly sacrificial. So what I mean by that is somebody who just constantly does things for other people and you're not getting anything from it, right? Like you're almost blocking out anything coming in because you're so used to projecting and giving the love versus accepting it, if that makes sense. You may fall in love easy, quick to be hurt, difficulty sticking to things, and pouring from an empty cup, trying to be there for everyone but yourself. So, you know, those folks that are like, you know, oh, I can never take time out for myself, or, you know, they always are there for other people, but they're never there for themselves. They never ask for anything. Like, those kinds of folks are in excess in the heart chakra, right? They're almost too caring. And I know a lot of folks out there will be like, well, you can never be too caring. Yes, you can. Like, you can literally pour from your empty cup so much that you're just depleted. And then how are you supposed to refill your cup? Which brings me to my next thing. If you are under, right, you might be lonely, depressed, fearful, lack of empathy, bitter, overly critical, heavy-hearted. Now, what I mean by heavy-hearted is like the folks who have been hurt and they're like, I'm never gonna love again. Like, they don't care. Like, they're like, I'm not gonna fall in love. I don't wanna meet anybody. Like, they're very just, I can't do that. And that's what I mean by somebody who is hard-hearted. You know, they're not going to let anybody in because they don't want to get hurt. Which, again, like, you're going through traumatic things in your life that are making you react that way. And you can either continue on like that, or you can change it. And I really love the idea of, you know, figuring out what exactly in each chakra is hitting for you. And then, you know, really diving deep, like, do I want to change this about myself? If not, you know, that's your own choice. So, some ways to unblock and rebalance the chakra: forgiveness. So working on forgiving people in your life who have done you wrong, self-acceptance, breath work, and being in the air element. So each of the chakras has a certain element that's associated with it. And the heart chakra is associated with air. And it is, you know, the heart's here, and then you have here, and then you have the lungs, and it's the whole chest region, right? You have this expansion with the air element. So we are going to do a little bit of heart opening today. Affirmations, and one of the big ones, like I said, that go with the air element is driving with your windows down. I really, really love that kind of practice of just having the windows down and just driving, maybe throwing on some good music. For this specific class, I actually made a playlist, so I'm actually going to link that in the description below as well, so you could play that playlist whenever we get to moving. And it has some love songs on it, right? So, you know, playing things that kind of resonate with that love feeling. So some of the journal prompts that came out with the heart chakra is, what does unconditional love mean to me? How am I able to express my feelings from the heart? Do I tend to stray away from emotional connections? And then what self-care practices can I incorporate into my daily life? And, you know, if you want a copy of this, I have a few extras I'd be more than happy to share with you. I actually just got this off of Pinterest. It was like an essential oils website, and I thought it was a really neat little like handout, so I wanted to have that. And then I have it on the back with some affirmations, healing practices, and journal prompts. So that is all the information about the chakra itself. We're going to go ahead and get into some of these poses. And like I said, these are not going to be like full-length classes. So if you'd like to do any extra warm-ups, you're welcome to pause the video now and then join me. So we're actually going to start in a gentle heart opener. We're going to have one of our blocks at the back of our mat, and then another block on the medium setting. And I just want to mention that if you don't have blocks at home, you could use really thick books, right? Like any of those Harry Potter books. I would just have it just like, you know, flat underneath your shoulders. You could also use pillows. You could roll up a towel. You could do it however way, you know, get creative. Use that sacral chakra. So we're going to go ahead and set this one right underneath the bra line. We're going to lower down, and then we're going to let the head rest on the top one. And you might have to adjust and maneuver things a little bit to make it work. Now you can keep your feet on the floor and just let the knees knock in together. You can extend the legs out nice and long. Let me move my books out of the way. Really whatever works best for you. And then once you get into this pose, I want you to close the eyes and just take some nice full deep breaths in and out. Really allowing yourself to soften over the blocks. Keeping the breath at a more steady pace, steady rhythm. And just checking in with yourself. And how do you show up for your relationships, and how do you handle love? Do you accept it freely and openly? Do you give it more than you receive it? Do you not give it at all? Are you closed off from receiving love? And not even just love from others, but also from yourself. We'll take a few more breaths here. Go ahead and bring your arms overhead and just reach towards the back part of your mat. We'll bring our hands by our sides. Feet will come to the floor. Roll to the right and then come up to a seat. Go ahead and set your blocks towards the front edge of your mat. We're going to come over onto hands and knees. So I always like to place a knee blanket underneath my knees. You're welcome to use a towel or a blanket or anything of that nature. I want you to bring your hands back a little bit closer towards your kneecaps. And then I want you to make sure you're pushing down to the floor, right? So we're not sinking down into the shoulders at all. We're really pushing into the floor, pulling the belly in. Toes are tucked under. And then from here, I want you just to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, soften towards the floor. Look forward or up, or if that feels a little wonky for the neck, you can just let the head release. And then we'll tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, round through the spine a little bit more, and puff through the shoulder blades. Inhale, soften everything down towards the ground, looking forward or up. And then exhale, tucking and rounding. Inhale 2 more times like this. Exhale out. 1 more. Nice. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips. Come up into our first downward dog of this class. I have these wireless headphones and they just keep popping out of my ears. We're going to lift the left leg up into the air, bend the left knee, and then twist open to the left, bringing that left heel to the glute and kind of bringing a little bit more weight into that right foot and that right hand. We'll come back to center, left foot will come down to the ground. We'll lift the right leg up this time. Bend the knee, twist open to the right, holding there, and then set the right foot back down to the ground. Bring both knees down. We'll come up onto the knees, and then we'll bring the right foot forward. Now from here, I want you to keep the foot underneath the knee. We're gonna untuck the back toes, and we're gonna reach the arms forward and up alongside the ears. And I want you to feel this lift up from the rooted feet up into the air. And then I want you to take your hands behind your head, roll the shoulders back, wing the elbows out wide, and then start to tilt your chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe looking up towards the ceiling, maybe starting to take that gaze back a little bit more. Staying here, we're reaching your arms overhead, keeping the fingers or the hands clasped and pointed fingers up towards the ceiling. So you're still feeling this lift. Belly's pulled in, ribs pulled in, we feel lift, and you're just shifting the gaze up. Staying here, maybe taking that hand back a little bit more. Feel this expansion through the chest as you reach up and back, up and back, up and back. Come back to center. Bring the hands to the hips. Go ahead and tuck your back toe under. We're going to lift that left knee up. We're going to open up into goddess. There we go. Go ahead and start to pulse the knees out. Beautiful. Bring the arms into a goalpost. Start to kind of pulse the arms and the legs. Woo. It's like doing like the rub your belly and tap your head kind of vibe. And then this time we're going to bring the hands down in between the legs. Right knee's going to come to the mat. And we're going to turn to face behind us. So now we're in a low lunge facing the back edge of our mat. We're going to do the same thing. So back toes can stay tucked if you feel wobbly today, or untuck. Reach your arms forward and up. And again, you feel this lift, right? So we're not just sinking into our lunge here. Whew. We're really reaching up. Staying here, or maybe starting to take the arms back a little bit. If you want to interlace the fingers, that's fine. If that's too tight on the shoulders, just stay here. Reaching up and then back, up and then back, up and then back. And then when you hit that sweet spot, just hold here, pushing down into the feet as you lift up with the arms, shining the heart forward. Bring the hands by your side. Tuck your back toes. We're gonna lift back up and open back out in the goddess. Beautiful. Little pulses here. We're gonna keep the hands at the hips. You might be thinking, you're like, Taylor, you're doing some leg stuff for a heart opening class. Well, the hips are all part of this. It's also a lot of times where we house our emotions. And since this is an emotional chakra, I wanted to kind of bring that area into the party. Now we'll come back down to a low lunge. Right leg will go back to meet the left leg. Beautiful. Now, from here, we're going to work a little bit with our camel pose. So tuck the heels under. If you need your blocks, use them. We're going to reach the left arm forward and up. And again, we reach up. Twist yourself to the left and bring that hand back towards that left heel. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling and then coming into your camel. Reaching up, hand on the heels, staying here, maybe untucking the toes. We'll tuck the right toes under, tuck the left toes. Reach the left arm up with the right arm. Hands come to prayer. And go ahead and have a seat. Beautiful. Now from here, right hand will reach back. You can grab the heel if you'd like. We'll come into camel on the right side. Now, if this seems a little too funky for you, we'll just come back up to the knees. Both arms will reach up. We'll twist ourselves to the right. Right hand comes down to reach that back heel as the left arm lifts up. Now notice my toes are tucked under. It makes it a lot easier to grab the heels. Take another breath in and out. And right arm reaches up. And then this time I want you to bring your hands by your sides, and then the hands are going to come right behind the hips here. Roll the shoulders back, puff the heart forward, and start to kind of shift the hips forward as well. And maybe look up at the ceiling. You can stay like this. You can let the head drop back. I like to keep my head forward and just puff my heart out. Ooh. Come back to center. Hands will come down to the ground, back into tabletop. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees, lift the hips, come back into your downward dog. Beautiful. Hold here. Maybe lift the leg up. Feeling this nice strong lift through the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Take the right leg up into the sky. Exhale, pull the right foot in, step it in between the hands. Go ahead and come up into a high lunge. Now, if you'd rather come into a low lunge, you're welcome to. Hop your back foot in a little bit and bend your left knee. Now, I want you to bring your hands to your hips, straighten your back leg. And what's happening here is my pelvis is tilting forward. All right, I want you to kind of tuck it under and bend that back knee. There we go. Notice my right knee is in a 90-degree angle. No, it's a little bit higher than that, and that's fine. Reach your arms forward and up. Open the arms out to a T or into a goal pose. Reach the heart forward. Inhale, reach the arms up as you straighten the front leg. Ooh, exhale, goal pose. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Hold here. Hands come to the hips. Step the left foot forward to meet the right foot. Right foot steps back. And then same thing, rebending that knee, tailbone to the floor, reach the arms forward and up. Beautiful. Holding here. Nice and strong and steady with the legs. Elbows come out, send the heart forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Very nice. Hands come down. Right knee comes down. Left knee goes back to meet it. Sit back, child's pose. Now I want you to stay in this child's pose for the remainder of the class, or go ahead and lay down or come to a seat. Go ahead and sit on a block, because for me that's what's most comfortable. All right, you do you. So to end this class, I want to read a little bit out of this book. Freaking out of breath right here. Whew. Whew. My goodness gracious. So, the heart chakra itself is like, you know, it's something that's very complex, right? If you think about the way people think and emotions and how we live our lives and how we perceive things, you know, the heart chakra is probably the one that's going to get the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Dang word escapes me. I can't even think about it. I don't know. I feel like it's the most complicated one, right? Like the lower chakra is a little bit easier to understand as far as like, you know, foundation, creativity, and who your sense of self is. The upper ones get a little bit more into the consciousness, the higher divine consciousness. And the throat one's more of like how you communicate, right? But the heart one's a little bit more intense. It's a little bit more demanding, as I think, as far as, you know, understanding and reworking through that chakra. So what I want to talk about is through knowing the self within, we can honor the self that lives within another. We need to be able to love our own self enough to offer it openly to someone else. Without self-love, this cannot happen. And the most common block in the heart chakra is the absence of self-love. To love ourselves is to act respectfully and responsibly towards ourselves, to enjoy our own company when in solitude, and to honor our limits and speak our truths. Excuse me. Now, if that's something that's difficult for you, congratulations, you're a human, right? I think that when you think about what society has said to us and how society acts with us, you know, it's almost impossible to not have some sort of issue with your self-acceptance and your self-love. And I think it's important to give yourself that grace while also understanding that you have to work on it. Like what it said here, right? Without self-love, we cannot offer love openly to someone else. And what part of life, like this might get a little like, you know, intense for some folks, but like, what is life without love? What is life without love? And that is what I want to end this class with. What is life without love? Go ahead and lay down. Have a seat. Whatever works best for you. Close your eyes and sit with that. What is life without love? How can you create a safer space to accept and give love? What do you need to create that safe space to accept and give love? Sit here with your breath. I'm here with you. Wherever you're at, place your hand on your heart. Give yourself permission to love. Give yourself permission to accept love. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Give yourself a thank you for making this time for yourself and for your practice. The divine light in me honors, bows, and recognizes the divine light in you. Namaste.